Nearly 94% of you are not subscribed to this channel. Please make sure you subscribe right now. What is up, guys? This is David from Bronx Banter, and with Craig Counsell, the so coveted manager of the previously Milwaukee Brewers, moving over to the Chicago Cubs, it seems as though that the Milwaukee Brewers are now willing to trade virtually anyone, as they came out and said this. And with this happening, this began to make some of my juices flowing as a Yankee fan and started making me think, who are some guys that the Yankees could try to hop in on during this fire sale of the Milwaukee Brewers? Now, some of the two most prominent names being Corbin Burnes, and the second one today, which we're going to be discussing on today, is Christian Yelich. Now, if you don't know, if you guys aren't too familiar who Christian Yelich is a very prominent lefty bat that plays all over the outfield. He's played some right field, some center field, but most notably left field, and he's had some amazing seasons, MVP caliber seasons, and he's also had some not so amazing seasons. And as I'm kind of painting this picture for you all, you guys can begin to imagine who can easily comp similarly and be compared to similarly to Christian Yelich, and that is Cody Bellinger, who's on the free agent market. Both of them have had MVP seasons. Both of them have had amazing over 40 home run plus seasons, 100 RBI seasons, I believe over a 1. OPS seasons. So they both play outfield, very similar player makeup. And though they both have had their amazing successes, they both have had their struggles. To be honest, Bellinger has had more or a harsher struggle than Christian Yelich has had. Cody Bellinger had a harder fall off than Yelich had, but they both have fallen off since their MVP seasons. And kind of just to paint the picture a little bit more and kind of to compare even more so, let's take a look at these last season stats from both of them. In the 2023 season, looking at the left, Christian Yelich hit .278, very respectable. I believe that could be the best on the Yankees roster. Last year, an on-base percentage of .370, home runs 19, and an OPS plus of 124. And looking at Cody Bellinger, he's had a much higher average at .307, lower on-base percentage at .356, 26 home runs, more home runs, and a higher OPS plus of 133. Now, Yelich, looking at every stat, may not be as enticing as Bellinger, but one thing that the Yankees really love and speak highly of in terms of analytics and statistics is they love their guys that get on base. They love on-base percentage, and Yelich has always had a better on-base percentage and has had a very good on-base percentage in general in his career. So him having a .370 on base percentage isn't like, it is kind of a resurgence, but this is just what we would typically get. Christian Yelich is great at the plate, great discipline, walks a good amount of times, especially much more than Cody Bellinger. And we could take a look at their overall career stats and compare. Now, Yelich has played a few more games or a few more seasons, than Cody Bellinger, but it's still a good comparison to look at. Now, looking at their career stats, in an 11-season career for Yelich, he's hit .286, so a higher average, an on-base percentage of .376, OPS of .840, and an OPS plus of 129. Then for Cody Bellinger, in his 7-season career, he's hit .258, .335 on-base percentage, .829 OPS, and a 120 OPS plus. So looking overall in their careers, Yelich does have higher stats in OPS plus, OPS, on-base percentage, and average. To give a little more perspective, Yelich is 31, Bellinger is 28. We can argue that Bellinger still need to step into his prime years of 29, 30, 31. We could say that, so maybe these numbers will jump up. But overall, in their whole entire tenure career, Yelich has had a more successful career in terms of offensive production statistically. Now, I like Yelich a lot. I really do. Almost more than Bellinger, especially how we chop up these numbers and look at them. And then though Yelich has also struggled just as Bellinger has, even in his struggling years, we could still know what we're going to get. We're going to get a guy that's going to hit around 280. It's going to get 15 to 20 home runs, which is not going to wow anyone, but it's still good and can play up in Yankee Stadium, and has a very respectable on base percentage of 370, and that seems to be relatively consistent. He has a very relatively good on base percentage throughout his career. Even in his struggling years, his on base percentage, though it did dip, it wasn't uncharacteristic of who Yelich was. He still had a strong on base percentage, and with the very respectable above league average OPS plus. Now we won't be expecting an MVP level season from Christian Yelich really ever again, but to expect these numbers will be really, really awesome and would play as a very reliable leadoff hitter. Now, Cody Bellinger, not sure if anyone has him if he were to be on the Yankees as our leadoff hitter. If we do, he's not going to get on base as much as Yelich would. Now, he would put the ball in play more. Maybe that plays better as a number 5 hitter, but Yelich really plays, if we don't get a guy like Brendan Donovan, and not that I want this instead, but if we don't get a guy like Brendan Donovan or anything like that, he seems like a very good, true leadoff hitter for the Yankees, also with a very respectable speed. He's not gonna lightning speed anyone, but I believe last year he was very close to a 2020 season, 20 home runs, 20 stolen bases, and he's had that a few times in his career as well. So I could really see him as being a very reliable and respectable leadoff hitter for the Yanks. Now, some things to consider is what it's going to take to get Yelich. Now, I'm not just saying, like, obviously we're going to have to trade for him, but I'm not just saying the trade pieces, because I think it's not going to cost a ridiculous amount in terms of trade pieces, but it's more of the fact that we have to give up trade pieces along with most likely taking up the contract. I don't anticipate the Milwaukee Brewers to trade off all their guys, seemingly in a rebuild, for them to eat up half or even any of Yelich's contract, especially going to a team like the Yankees that does have money. The Yankees aren't fooling anyone with that. So I would assume, I would be very surprised if we do, in an alternate reality, in an alternate universe, we do get Yelich. I would be very surprised if we get him and they eat up half or most or even some of his contract. So what does that mean for us? If we trade for Yelich, we are going to be taking on a guy that is taking $26 million a year and is owed $26 million a year through 2029. Now, this isn't the greatest option for the Yankees. $26 million a year is, I think, almost what you could expect to give someone like Yamamoto or even Bellinger a year. And obviously, you'll be getting Bellinger at a younger age. Now, I don't know. Younger age does not matter if you're not producing. So we're not too sure of what Bellinger we're going to get, with how highs his highs have been and how lows his lows have been. Now, some of you may be saying the same thing with Yelich, but his lows haven't been as bad as Bellinger's lows. So there's a little more, again, we know what to expect out of coming into next season. So again, he's 31. We owe him 26 mil through, I believe, 5 more seasons. So till he's about 36, which honestly, till 36, I'm glad we're not paying him 26 mil after 36 is all I have to say. We're not giving crazy. This isn't a crazy contract where they're paying him through his 38, 39, 40 year season. So that's the only good thing about it. But though we know he bounced back last year, we can only expect for him to regress, if not next year, then the following closing years of his contract, the last 2 to 3 years of his contract. So do we want to pay 26 mil? The question is, let's start here. Do we want to pay 26 mil for what he produced last year? Now, maybe we do, maybe we don't. If we don't, then, and if you're on the boat that we don't even want to pay 26 mil for what he gave us for what he gave the Brewers last year, then he's not a question to be on this team and to be traded for. Now, if you're still on the boat of I'm willing to pay 26 mil for the productivity last year, the next question is, how long do you think he's going to keep that level of productivity, and when is it going to fall off and become not worth it? Personally, I'm kind of iffy if I want to even pay 26 mil for what he did last year with the Brewers. And even more so, I'm definitely not going to want to pay 26 mil for any sort of regression after that. Now, I know 31 isn't super old, but there's most oftentimes than not, most players regress after this year, and after 31 is, I believe, is understood as past their prime. So Belly again is 28, not past his prime, and Bellinger can give us at least year 28, 29, 30, 31. That's 3 to 4 seasons of prime Bellinger, or what we would expect any prime years of any player to be. And another thing to consider is that Yelich isn't as versatile as Bellinger. One of the big selling points to myself, and I share with other Yankee fans, is that Bellinger, the reason why he's most likely worth it, despite his inconsistencies, is that he could float from outfield and almost all outfield positions to first base, which is huge, even more so for the Yankees, because we don't have really a first base option after Rizzo. And I've looked far into free agencies the following years and years, and there isn't any first baseman that's jumping off the page for me. And other than maybe Pete Alonso, but I don't even want, no offense, I don't want Pete Alonso. I don't see the Yankees going after him either. So after that, there's really no first basemen that seem realistically good for the Yankees. So Cody Bellinger seems to be our best bet at first base. Now, I know there may be some internal options and position switches that the Yankees could do, but Yelich doesn't even have that option or that versatility. So there's things that I like, things that I don't like. Overall, my decision, my verdict, at first it was exciting to talk about and think about, but Yelich is not a viable option. We haven't even talked about what pieces we would have to trade off, not just the 26 mil we're going to have to take on. Bellinger's just going to cost money, younger, more versatile position wise. Believe he's much better defensively as well. So, and one thing I didn't address is that Bellinger had a higher WAR as well, not career wise, but year wise last year. So there's obviously more value in Bellinger now. So this seems like the best decision to make. Go for Bellinger. Don't worry about Yelich. Maybe there's another Brewer that the Yankees should consider. Corbin Burns, maybe. That's another topic. I don't even want to talk more about that in this episode. If you guys want to see more of that, let me know down in the comments below. Let me know what you think on Yelich, Cody Bellinger, neither, both in some weird reality. Maybe you can convince me that. Hey, what is up, guys? If you liked this episode, please make sure to like it, comment down below, and subscribe, and watch what YouTube suggests would be a great video for you. You're not going to want to miss all the latest Yankees news and topics going on. Listen, Judge wants you to subscribe. The Martian wants you to subscribe, so make sure you do. And until next time, peace and be blessed.